I sent you to the royal wedding with simple instructions. Don't cause an international incident.
How's it going?
You've done some pretty stupid things in your day, but this...
Takes the cake? Henry shoved me.
An urge I currently share. What I need is some good old-fashioned damage control.
The White House and the palace are going to release a joint statement.
You've got to be joking.
You can hate Prince Henry all you want.
My NDA is bigger than yours. I want you to know that. You're wearing lifts. Know that too, sweetheart.
You better act like the sun shines out of his ass and you have a vitamin D deficiency.
Have you thought as what you might say to convince the world that we're actually friends?
I love hanging out with this guy. We never have to see each other again. You're expected at my New Year's party. Did I do something wrong? Do you ever wonder who you'd be if you were an anonymous person in the world? I have no idea what you're talking about. You're as thick as it gets.
What I meant when I said...
yourself, Your Majesty.
It's your Royal Highness.
Oh. Dear Alex, I miss you.
Good morning.
We are in a hotel crawling with reporters. If anyone sees you leave this hotel, I will Brexit your head from your body. Your Royal Highness.
You need to figure out if you feel forever about him. Do you love him?
What difference would it make if I did?
I want someone to love.
Prince Henry belongs to Britain.
I need
We can figure out a way to love each other on our own terms. It's like there's a rope attached to my chest and it keeps pulling me towards you.
someone to love.
Hopefully we'll get through tonight without any more scandals.
The night is young, Ma.
That's what I want. Hello and welcome to the periodic table of awesome. I am Quinny. He is Dion. That is Jill down. No, Jill's beside me, and then there's Peter. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the stream. It's all very confusing.
Top right, Quinny. For you, top
I don't
right.
know. I don't know where I am,
Look,
but
Peter's right
okay.
here. She's
Oh,
right
hi,
there. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
And we're back. We're
You are
back. It has
back.
been 2 whole weeks that we went away.
We had
and did other
holiday.
things. Yes, it was sort of a holiday, but
Vacation.
A
yeah.
staycation. A staycation? A vacation.
Yeah.
No, we were on a beach
Staycation.
earning 20%.
Fuck,
We went to Tahiti.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah,
It was
I would've-
it was the middle of winter, so we decided to go on a beach holiday because we can do that.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That would be the case for me, but I had a bad time. So
Yeah. That's
yes, it's been 2 weeks away and it's lovely to be back and here on the stream with all of you lovely people looking at the chat and seeing Tari going, "Oh no, this film looks entirely too cheesy for me." Well, Tari,
All I-
gird your loins because it's gonna get cheesier.
I
Is
hope-
romance cheesy?
I hope you don't have a lactose intolerance because this film's going to fuck you right up. Hey,
There's the question: is romance cheesy? I don't know. I think we're in a different phase of romance now. The rom-coms of the past, many of them were cheesy, and now I feel like we're heading into a different kind of rom. That's is it a com? Yes. Is it rom?
Yeah.
Yes. Is there
I
something
feel
else
like-
about it?
I feel like you can make anything cheesy if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
Or if you don't try hard. Like I
Also
think,
that.
yeah, I think it's very easy for romance and stuff to descend into schmaltz if you don't actually put some effort into the script.
I would say this is not a cheesy romance.
Well, that's very interesting. But what are you talking about? I don't even know.
Oh.
What rad bromance are we discussing tonight?
Is that the segue into doing a synopsis?
Or telling
Well,
us
you
what we're
just
doing?
tell us the name of the film to begin with.
Oh, all right.
You got to remember that we do put this out in an audio format, and sometimes people might be like, "What are you reviewing at the moment?"
We are talking about Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is a movie that just came out last Friday on Amazon Prime, based on a book by Casey McQuiston.
I love that you can say that this movie came out.
Yes,
And
it
it's totally
did.
appropriate. It's like, this is a movie about coming out, which came out about
Yes.
out. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's very gay.
Super gay.
It's a super gay film.
It's a powerfully, wonderfully, joyfully gay film. And Jill, could now, first of all, before we go deep diving into the synopsis, why are we reviewing this? Because this isn't necessarily the kind of thing that maybe we would normally be going hardcore for.
I feel like it's maybe genre adjacent, but I mean,
Romance is a genre.
Yeah.
Romance is a genre.
It was at my behest that we do this
That's-
because I read the book quite quickly and fell in love with this story and these characters. And I knew that this movie was coming out before I read the book, and I was like, I got to get onto that. And I started it and finished it within 4 days. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, well, just in time for the movie. And that was great. And I'm absolutely head over heels for this film. And since Friday, I've watched it 4 times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I'm just telling Amazon algorithm that we want more of this content. And I feel like a lot of other viewers have done the same because as of yesterday, it was the #1 streamed film on Amazon Prime. So,
Oh, wow.
round of
Like-
applause for Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Well, okay,
so-
sorry, like isn't that sort of golf clap? It's like a very
Yes,
royal
yes.
clap. Oh yes,
Yeah,
well done.
little-
Yes, well done. Well
Little
done.
gay clap.
Yeah, so I did really. Oh, lovely, yes. So yeah, okay. So how had you heard about the book? Was it just through people talking about it, or?
Yes, definitely word of
Right.
mouth from other queer friends of mine and non-queer that just enjoy the material, that are into young adult fiction. Yeah, that's how I found out about it, and I thought, oh, I've got to give that a go. It sounds really lovely. I only ever heard good things about the book, and then of course the movie finally coming out. I'm like, I gotta get onto the book. So I finally did it.
So when was the book actually released? I actually don't know that one. I have it here in front of me. 2019. There you go.
There you go.
Right. I'll ask my question and answer it in the same way.
Yeah, thanks, Quinny.
No problem. Yeah. Okay. I had never heard of it until you told us about it, and I was like, okay. And I don't know, there was something about the title that didn't immediately grab me. I was kind of like, okay, I don't know what it's going to be about. And then I watched the first 2 minutes of the trailer, and I was like, oh, this is some sort of little Lord Fauntleroy shit. Not interested. And then I turned the trailer off. And then when I remembered a week and a half later that we had to review it, I went and watched the rest of the trailer and went, oh, that looks delightful.
Quinny,
So
there
you had
you
a
go.
change of heart.
it's absolutely horrible. This is just a romantic comedy, and it's quite lovely. And it was one of those ones. I too was kind of looking at this, going, "Really, Jill? Really?" But I know that I have made you watch a lot of shit that you didn't want to watch. So I was like, "No, I owe this to Jill. I need to figure out like what's going on." But
Yes.
after
I mean,
going
I
through with
forced
it, I was
myself to
like,
watch a whole season of C for you. So.
yeah.
Oh,
Like-
wow.
And the best news is there's 2 more seasons, Jill.
Oh God, no.
But this isn't C. This is a different.
Yes,
sort of-
I mean, when I did
This is just-
suggest it, it was met with a resounding "really" in the chat. I stand by
Really?
my choice.
Sure.
I was keen to watch it.
Yeah.
Of good.
It's
Thank
just,
You know, if I'm going to have to watch Mission Impossible and talk about it, we can watch this and talk about it. Jesus
Exactly.
Christ. Like, let's, you know.
Yeah.
and I have a lot to say about Uma Thurman's accent, but that will come later.
I think
Okay.
a lot of people have had a lot to say about Uma Thurman's accent.
Yes,
Speaking of shit accents, it is the time that we would normally go directly into a synopsis, and today I abdicate.
Oh, Quinny's given up the throne.
Yep, that's right. I
Pass
have
the torch to me to do the shit accent.
now.
Nice.
Peter, what was your request for shit accent?
My request was Uma Thurman's Tennessee Williams oil baron.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Adsky's put a posh accent. You could do the
Oh,
posh
that's
English.
too easy, Adsky.
Yeah.
Too easy. You're talking to someone that used to fake British accents in high school just for
What
shits
about
and giggles.
what about frustrated Stephen Fry playing a straight in a gay film?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, it's a bit of a spoiler, but you know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You just want me to say the word homosexual.
Yeah. No, he did it enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
Clam Wings has thrown in a vote for transatlantic, which is letting you off the hook a bit, I think.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, you're allowed to
Very
shift backwards and
difficult.
forwards. This
Very
could be a bi accent if you want.
By accent. No, it's a straight Texican.
British by way of Texas?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, how the fuck am I going to do this?
Ah.
All right.
Would you like some backing music?
Sure.
Yay, I'm so excited to not be doing this.
Amp this up.
I believe in you, Jill.
Okay.
What's it about?
Alex Claremont Diaz is a handsome, charismatic, a genius, pure millennial marketing gold for the White House ever since his mother first became president of the United States.
Not shit enough.
Oh, fuck.
Shitter,
Too
Jill.
good. It's too
It's
good.
too good at a shit accent.
Come
There's
on,
only
Jill.
one problem.
You gotta
when
get
the tabloids
shitter.
get hold of a photo involving an altercation between Alex and Prince Henry, U.S.-British relations take a turn for the worse. I'm trying
Oh,
not to
no.
go too,
No.
like,
No.
George Bush.
Lean in.
You gotta,
Lean
you,
in.
you gotta really drop an octave and add a baby.
Okay. All right, sugar, listen up. Heads of family and state devise a plan for damage control. Stage a truce. But what begins as a fake Instagrammable friendship grows and more dangerous than either Henry or Alice could have imagined. Soon they are hurtling into a secret romance that could derail the presidential campaign and upend two nations, baby.
Yeah. I like it. That's the way you gotta do it. You just gotta lean right in there,
Shit
sugar.
ones.
Oh my god, I love it, Jill. You're just now I know.
I'm just glad I didn't Borat. Like, fuck. That seems to be a track record for me.
Subsequent movie film of all of the red, blue, and the whites. Royalty, yes, no.
Look, my son.
He loves my son.
Oh dear.
Anyway, lovely. Well done. That's actually a far better synopsis than anything that is available on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know why all the synopsises for the movie just didn't steal the book jacket cover. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that synopsis sounded a little bit more exciting than the movie. Does the book? I mean, with book adaptations, you can never quite do everything that the book does when you condense it into a 90-minute film. As an adaptation, is it disappointing or satisfactory?
it's adequate. I'm gonna say it kept the important beats. It unfortunately dropped a lot of the very good characters.
Oh,
We had
really?
a stripped back cast for this film.
Okay,
A
so who are
lot
we missing?
of the female characters, I'm afraid.
Oh, right.
They went super gay and just made it very homo, and there was no room for women. So
Fair enough.
Alex
Okay.
actually has an older sister in the book called June, and her and Nora, they're very much a trio, and so there's a much
Right.
more focus on like deferring back to the girls to get their opinions on romance and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And Henry's sister B also features a lot more.
She was definitely in the film.
She was in the film.
Yeah, she
And I was just
They
happy that
wrote
she had
out-
a gig after fucking
Yeah.
doing Willow.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I looked at her and I went, where do I know her from?
Oh.
Oh, she's a survivor.
Oh no. Yeah, a few changes. Oh, also, the key woman that was left out was the Queen. The Queen was rewritten to be a king.
Who's a
Interesting.
king?
Probably,
Who's the kid? Who's the queen?
probably because if they were to do that in a movie, it might hit a little too close to some people's homes.
One of the things that I wrote as a ticker, and I'm not sure whether it works, but I found this to be one of the most astonishing third world fantasies I've ever watched. Like not third world, third earth, whatever the fuck it is, like alternate reality fantasies, because it's like in this particular fantasy world, there can be a Texan president of America, you know,
A Democratic Texan.
Yeah, a Democratic Texan president of America with a Latino partner and gay son, and at the same time,
and a black female prime minister of the United Kingdom.
Yes,
but it's still not okay to be gay.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I was looking at it going, there's so many things in this world.
In the real world, a privileged gay white man is going to make it before any of those people.
Yeah. And and it's funny because you look at the royal family in this and you're like, have you watched too much of The Crown and everything? I'm looking at this royal family going, no, they're too nice.
Yes, well, I'll loan you the book because it's savage. They're quite.
Really?
The Queen is quite evil, and yeah.
This sounds like that
they've had
just
to make quite a departure.
Right. This sounds just that they have sold this or made this as just like, a very glossy two boys fall in love romance. Don't think too hard. Don't explore too many ideas, because people might have too much of a hard time getting across the two boy romance, right?
Do you mean in the film?
Yeah, like the film version compared to what I'm hearing from the book, which, to be fair, I'm really probably not going to go out and read the book, but then I'm also not going to go out and read the book of Fast and Furious 10.
Screen adaptation.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
Like the huge big scads of dialogue that are in the Fast and Furious 10
Not
books.
that I would never read a book on a film adaptation, because I did read the book adaptation of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and the book's slightly better.
It is. Yeah, there's I know what you mean.
Sorry to derail that.
Sure, they really did just make the core story about being the Romeo and Juliet plus gay of it all, of like, and also having that to be like the biggest scandal is like having the world find out that you're closeted. In the rest of the world that is far more progressive. So yeah, I can see where that.
Yeah, it was
mesh.
a strange, like, not to get too far in because we're not really in spoilers yet, but it was very paint by numbers kind of like rom-com that I was watching, and I was like, this is so paint by numbers. And then I think back about all the other rom-coms I've ever seen. I'm like, wait, they're all paint by numbers.
Yeah.
I had one of those
formula.
I had one of those everything's cake moments where I'm like, they're all cake.
Yeah.
They
it's all cake.
Yeah, always was, always will be, just cake.
But it is one of my favorite tropes. I do love an enemies to lovers.
What I found interesting while I was watching it is that I was thinking about the similar sort of things of the rom-coms and stuff that you see. And so much of the traditional straight rom-com is about will they, won't they? It's keeping them apart for most of the film. Your Sleepless in Seattle, you got Mail and everything. It's putting them at combative odds with each other. It's sexual tension, it's it's all that kind of stuff. In this one, and I also had to sort of think, because I've also recently just finished watching Heartstopper season 2. So I've been, right into the queer stories of late, and kind of going, okay, what the change of focus is in these feels more like it's not will they, won't they? It's yes, they are, but can they stay? It's overcoming external pressures upon your relationship and internal potential for fractures, as opposed to trying to get together. It's kind of like, okay, and I don't know whether that's a particularly sort of queer trope or a part of the queer relationship is get together fast and then try to work out how to keep it working. And I've got quite a few friends who are lesbians who are like,
I do have to say that is kind of, I've never really thought about it, but now that you like spell it out for me, I'm like, that's in every fucking queer story that I've ever read. and now I'm trained for it, because when I was reading the book, it was all, oh yeah, lovey, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop, because it always happens. It's always fantastic up until a point where there's a fracture and then they have to work out how to come back together. And yes, it's nearly in everything.
And I don't think there are that many like straight rom-coms that follow quite the same pattern.
It's not unheard of. You look at like a Friends with Benefits or No Strings Attached, weirdly the same movie released at the same time with different people who used to date.
Yes.
It's the same kind of trope. The couple does kind of get together in the beginning, but with limitations, and then you wonder if they're going to be able to overcome those limitations and accept that they love each other by the end.
It's in
so I wouldn't say
Mail. It's got When Harry Met Sally. Like, it's all the same. It's like, oh no, like, we're together, and then you lied to me, and then we can't see each other, and then we're back together again, and everyone's screaming at them, going, "No, it's toxic. That's why you broke up in the first place. Stop that." Wait.
Honestly,
Dion's rom-com. Just stop that. Stop that. No more plot for you.
Usually in these ones, it's more of an external forces separating them, not so much like, oh, you fucked up.
Yeah, no one can stay mad at Tom Hanks or Billy Crystal.
But that's the thing, like, watching this and watching Heartstopper and seeing similar sort of ideas there, where it's like the idea that the couple together is actually the strongest thing, and it's all about either externalities that are influencing them or internal self-doubt that is potentially undermining it. And it's intriguing to me that to me that feels like a different genre of film. Like, you look at so many of the other rom-coms around the place, Notting Hill and all that kind of stuff. Actually, no, are they together, Notting Hill?
Yes.
I don't know, but it's all about trying to get together. It's all about overcoming all of these obstacles to get together, and the idea is the prize is the partner. The win state is you overcome all odds, get person, end of story,
Yeah.
And this is kind of the same, but it's actually like, no, the prize here is acceptance. The prize here is you're allowed to be you. And that's, to me, a very different genre of film, and it's something that I don't think I've seen as much of, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's probably all to do with what queer people have to go through in life. And as one of my favorite drag queens literally said this week, being gay is not hard. Straight people make being gay hard. Yeah. As funny as that is, it's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
So if we have this need for acceptance and to have to actually come out and confess to people that you're not straight, we wouldn't have to have these kinds of acceptance quotas in movies. It would just be, here's a normal romance, but it's between two guys, or it's between two girls, or it's between two non-binary people, or two trans people. Like, it would just be a
two
story.
people. Or three. Fuck it. Why not? Let's get Polly in this shit.
Yeah.
Or, just one person living their life.
And
learning to love themselves.
Exactly.
And that's also lovely. Actually, that was one of the things I fucking enjoyed the most about the last season of Heartstopper. Is that it's one of the nicest pieces of ace representation I've seen in a long time.
We might talk about that later. We haven't talked about whether we're going to talk about season 2 of Heartstopper, but maybe we should.
Did we talk about season 1? And do I have to go and start watching Heartstopper? Because I haven't.
What? Dion?
I just want to thank Clam for the comment as well. Like, bi-erasure is still a thing, even in the queer community. So I love that Alex is very vocally bi in the movie, and that makes it a point.
Yeah,
which is also a point that was made in Heartstopper as well. I mean, there are lots of,
Yeah.
It's just interesting that in the same week I watched those two things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. So what did we think of the actual film? Like we're talking about rom-coms and queer storytelling. What did we think about the film itself?
I'll let you guys, because yeah, you guys go. You guys go.
I mean, look, I'll go with somebody who did not have an objection to watching this and was quite keen.
I didn't have an objection.
We're not naming names, Dion. It's all right. You don't have to get defensive.
I wasn't standing out there going, "No, we don't. We should." Like, I object.
Yeah, but you weren't excited for it. I was excited for this. I saw the key art. I saw the trailer, and I was like, I'm going to be into that. I struggled a little bit to get into it. Particularly I found the intro specifically to be hard going.
As in the party?
No, like the whole, royal wedding news story that clearly wasn't set up or sounding like a news story. It was really, really jarring, I found. And there was something that was really, you kind of have to settle into this near world, right? Where, yes, it is a slightly alternate reality, but, we still have the British monarchy and the royal family and a royal wedding. And you're trying to settle into this world that is kind of not quite right, and then dodge some things in your brain about actually the monarchy being quite bad and colonialism kind of sucking a little bit, but that's, not what this is about. So we're just going to kind of smooth over and forget that for this world. And I don't think it was done particularly well. The narration didn't sound like a news story. It sounded like a film narration. Like it was a weird, something wasn't working for me in my head. And then the characters in those first scenes, I just found them all a little bit much. It was, to me, a bit cheesy in that kind of first bit. It felt like, like Hallmark daytime straight to television movie. And I had to really push through that to get to know and like the characters enough to enjoy watching the rest of it. And I wonder if that will be a problem for people who aren't super psyched to watch the film in terms of continuing to watch it past that first bit.
Well, see, this is kind of why I stopped partway into the trailer. So to explain why I stopped, I started watching the trailer for what looked like a Hallmark kind of shitty, TV movie. And I was like, oh, only when I got to because I didn't watch it far enough to get to the twist that they were both gay. So that actually made it far more interesting. So all I saw was a Hallmark movie about a couple of rich boys. And I was like, oh, fuck no. And then, as you say, like there's elements of this that do have a bit of that kind of very televisual kind of thing, that like the news stories aren't particularly well acted. Some of the special effects on them, like the backgrounds and stuff like that, feel a little undercooked. But that's not what the film is about. And once you get into the film, it's like, oh, okay, I'm into this romance. But some of that stuff is production-wise, not amazing. Dion?
Well, I loved it. No, like it's certainly got. I don't know how to like really classify it. Like, it is what it says on the box. It's literally a rom-com. And apart from the societal issues, like I've watched worse, there's other stuff that goes out there putting the ridiculous premise of two people together. I think one of the things I couldn't really get across with that premise is it's literally the son of the president of the United States and the second son of the King of England, falling in love together. And I am like, you can do that anyway. You people are richer than every motherfucker on the planet, and you can do whatever you want. And I know that there was that whole thing about we have to, it can't be socially acceptable to do these sorts of things. But I'm also like, all of your scenes are set around flying around in a private jet. Like, there's a certain barrier to the entry of me accepting this, but is it sweet? Sure. Will I be looking at a great societal comment or something like this? I'm like, no, that's not what I'm going to get here. I mean, the funniest thing about it was the time when that he has to the American president's son, whose name escapes me,
Alex.
but Alex,
Alex.
sorry, when he is forced or has to go to Texas to raise 1 million votes, and one of the things that is said to him is like, "You're going to be doing this on a shoestring budget. You're going to have to eat takeout every night." And I was like, "Ha! That's not a
Yeah, like
shoestring
literally,
budget."
takeout here is more expensive than home cooking.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. It was just like, oh no, a young man will have to, and then also to have him keep that body after eating a month's worth of takeout. It's like, not happening.
Admittedly, he is staying in hotels and having room service, which is a gigantic budget.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's just that sort of thing. Is like, you won't be able to get the fancy food that you get in the White House. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, sure, that may seem like a step down, but also think of the things we're looking about here, people. You know,
Yeah.
neither of these two couples can just sort of go, I don't feel like working for the next month. Let's go to Aruba, and they will, like they can. So there's a.
I know. I mean, they really had to push and invent stakes to make it work, but you have to
Yeah,
suspend
I mean, it is.
disbelief.
It
I
is a
mean,
suspension.
it's a romance.
I mean, it starts with a cake falling on the two guys, and then them like probably, you know, everyone's got a fantasy of them just getting naked in the cake, and then it goes on from there. That's probably where it goes. But it's sweet. Like it's not a film that presents it as, you know, silly or off kilter or anything. It's just a very sweet film about two people who fall in love, and you know they weren't going to fall in love, and then they do fall in love, and that's just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as someone that had read the book and then was coming into the movie, of course, loving it already, getting straight into that opening scene that Peter said she had trouble with, I was just giddy. I was
Yeah.
giddy because I'm like, yes, I fucking love this scene. But there was like part of me in moments that I'm going, oh yeah, I can feel the Hallmark cringe, and I knew that it was there, but I was overlooking it so bad. But I just felt like the performances from Nicholas Galitzine and Taylor Zaccaperez were so earnest, and I think that they really had a good chemistry on screen and were very good in their roles. Felt
Yeah.
like they presented something that was quite intimate and very relaxed, and you could kind of just tell that, you know, it was gelling and meshing, and it didn't feel awkward, any of their romance scenes, especially coming from like two straight dudes. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And I gotta say, some like at one point there's a sex scene in there that is probably one of the more frank sex scenes I've seen, especially in a queer story. And I was like, wow, okay, that like the way that they approach it, the way that they shoot it, and also the way that the characters talk about it, I was like, that's refreshing to see done well. And I do agree. I think Galitzine is I buy him as a member of the royal family. Like, you know, he's got the right look, he's got the right kind of attitude, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally
the
buy
right
that.
cheekbones.
Totally the right cheekbones.
Peter.
He's actually better looking than any of the royal family, so
Peter,
that's the only
do
problem.
you remember that he was the prince in Cinderella with Camila Cabello?
Right.
Yes. So it's not the first time he's played a prince.
Ah.
But if you have a British accent, you can play any member of the royal family or
Yeah,
butler
pretty much.
anywhere on American television.
Or an equerry.
Yeah. Yes, I love the equerry. Actually, I think my favorite character has to be, and I'm just trying to find her name.
Zara?
Is it Sarah, Deputy of Chief of Staff for the President?
Zara.
Sarah Shahi is the actor. Like, occasionally she has moments that you're like, oh yeah, right, you're just doing your thing, and then she'll bust out a thing, and you're like, oh wow, she's terrifying, and I love her.
Yes.
Yeah. You've got to have a good supporting cast. And in this, I think that was kind of, I love that everyone in the film knew that they were playing second fiddle to these two actors at the front of the film. Like, literally, what is this about? It's just about them interacting. That's all people want to see. And when it came around to having outside cast members kind of acting with them. It had to have a good chemistry, and I think everyone did a pretty good job with that. They kind of knew that they were to stand back a bit and let them go. And if you're going to take energy and stuff off those two, you better have a good reason for it. It better be good dialogue. Like, it was always good dialogue. It was always a justifiable sort of presence. The overall plot kind of let that down occasionally, but what are you worried about here? It's just a nice film with nice things that happen. I really think that the asshole brother should have, like, British royal family brother should have been more of an asshole.
He's much more of a douche in the book.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so close to fucking, like, it's so close to the British royal family that it is just kind of scary. Where you're like, oh, this is just, no one. Amazon's like, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah. And honestly, I agree with you, Dee. There were a couple of times I was like, I would love to have seen a little bit more kind of external stuff, like him being a bigger prick, or there being more threat from Alex's ex fling of
Miguel,
the journalist. He's kind of the only kind of bad thing happening on Alex's side, and I'm like, okay, you're a Democratic, the son of a Democratic president, who is desperately trying to balance all these things, and you're Latino and so forth. I feel like there could have been so many more pressures on that side, that sort of made this more dangerous for him. This is my one.
Yeah, I don't want to be like the person that says, well, in the book.
That's okay.
Do you have
the book?
Do you have the book, Jill?
She does. She was reading off
book.
it before. It's just off screen.
Oh, funny that, Quinny. Maybe if I just like do this, it'll come up on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's.
But I mean, bigger stakes in the book, and of course, what can you fit in 2 hours and make it a cohesive story that has a beginning, middle, and end, and what do you cull? And unfortunately, like a lot of the really dire stuff, they had to just leave out. There's a more in-depth story into like the leaking and the scandal and who's involved, but the Miguel character is invented for the movie just to simplify the plot. So
right, okay.
Well,
because I think I wanted more of that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even from my perspective of, I've read the book, of course I want all of it in there, but I just don't feel like I bought the stakes enough in the movie, knowing that there is much more involved in the book.
And that was a consistent problem for me, I think, also, was not buying the stakes.
Yeah.
All the way through, and I guess not buying, as you said, it seemed oversimplified the way things unfolded and were resolved, oversimplified, perhaps unearned, in the end, really, without kind of, because we're not in spoiler section yet, but we should be, because it's nearly 8:10.
Yes.
I'm trying hard there, Pete.
Okay. So should we rate it and then talk about it in a spoilery way?
Sounds like good, because there's a few things that are spoilerish I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jill will too. Okay, so Jill, do you want to start, or do you want to leave your rating right till the end?
No, I think I've already decided what I want to rate it. I mean, as much as I love the story, I do feel like the movie was just lacking a little bit. I am really disappointed that all of the amazing women that are in the book were sadly left out of the movie.
Which is criminal.
Yeah, but I do love these boys. I'm giving it an 85.
Lovely.
How the tables have
turned.
Like
a queer romance film, I think it was pretty fucking decent.
Yeah.
Excellent queer romance, not enough chicks.
To see like how far
85. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I know. I agree, Jill. I think seeing a queer romance story that has some, actual nice representation, and this in sort of in conjunction with things like Heartstopper and Schitt's Creek, and the sort of the new wave of queer storytelling. What I love about them is that sometimes they present a world where the challenge isn't necessarily bigotry or hatred or whatever. Sometimes the challenge is just, falling in love. And that's actually really sweet. And that's nice to see, but at the same time, fuck, give me some more drama.
Yeah.
So for me, it's an 80. Yeah. And I'm writing your scores down.
Sure.
So if you want to put a score in there,
Yeah.
you can use the out of
Look,
100 thing so I can see it.
I had a lovely time with it. Like as I said, it's not really covering any new ground. It's not really doing any great shakes. It's just a very sweet kind of Saturday afternoon cup of tea kind of and a biscuit film for me that I watched. But it was fine. Like I liked it. It's fun. It's not necessarily for me, as I would say, but it's definitely a nice time. So I'd say, yeah, definitely 75 out of 100 for me.
Okay.
It's a nice time.
Goes down well with a cup of tea, Mrs. Donut.
Yeah, it
I
does.
can't believe I'm going to give this the lowest rating in the group.
Pete.
No. I'm biased, that's why.
Oh no, I agree with Dion, and I think it's really, really nice, and I think it's we definitely need more queer romances on our screens. But if I'm going to be completely honest with myself about how I felt just about the general storytelling, and performance and the way the plot unfolded, it was just not quite where I needed it to be. When I've just finished Heartstopper, which I think is absolutely brilliant, and if I'm going to be realistic with myself in the way I feel about that ranking, I was going to give it a 72.
Okay,
no, that's all right.
I'm not mad at it. It is a nice time. I don't think it's a particularly great movie.
No. All right.
Pull my heart out, Peter.
Sure. Okay, let's come back and unpack that. Let's come back and unpack that after we go to a clip, and then we'll talk more spoilery things.
This is my favorite clip, by the way. My favorite clip.
Good morning. Zara? Breathe.
Don't you tell me what to do.
Do you want to sit? Okay. Where do you want to go? Here?
Yeah.
Oh, there? Okay.
Yeah. Fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
How long has this been going on?
Since New Year's.
Oh, God. And who knows about this?
Literally no one but you. And the Secret Service.
And Percy.
Right, and Nora.
Oh, and I told my sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was really happy for us.
Oh, I can't wait to see her again. She's really...
Okay, shut up, okay? The both of you. I need to think.
Yeah, well, of course, when you've just been outed, if you've got someone in the closet, they literally put someone in the closet and then they came out of the closet. Like, I mean,
I fucking love that scene so much.
there's
I just
times-
love her. I think she's so fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and terrified. I should put the spoilerly logo thing up. Where is it? There it is. I've got it now. They're good. Okay.
And apologies to anyone who missed out on the past 2 minutes of whatever because of ads. We're back and we apologize, and I'll look at working out a way to put the ads in a better place.
No, it's fine. It comes through. Like, it still comes back. They don't miss anything. It's just they're a bit delayed now. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Spoilery things. Spoilery things. I don't know why it got an R rating.
Because of the sex scene. Like.
Yeah, but I mean,
that was a very chaste sex
It's
scene.
really not even graphic.
It was sweet, but it was
you
very
see
chaste.
no dicks in this movie at all.
No, there are no
Except
dicks.
for the king.
But here's the thing: the idea of two men having sex face to face is shocking to so many people.
Okay, so there was actually like the most hilarious tweet where someone's like, "Wait, dudes can do missionary?" Someone was like, "Yes."
God.
You've now
White
been
people
enlightened.
need to watch 2 complete series of.
I feel
It's like nobody watched Queer as Folk in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
the education was all there.
Straight men obviously weren't.
No. Well, that's just it. Straight men weren't, and straight men are looking at it going, "Hang on, how does that work?"
I was like, I mean, I'm still in the process of watching Minx, and I'm about halfway through the second season. And there are a lot of dicks in that, including one that's just a lot of erect penis. Like there's a whole, they do a photo shoot and they're just trying to say to the model, like, you need to go, like, I can't print these. Like, it's a great
You
hard
need to
dick,
go and sort that out.
but we need to,
Yeah.
I can't take a photo of this to do it.
Erect
So
penises were not okay.
that I
No,
understand as
still not.
as an R rating. I'm like, sure. No, I get why that's an R rating. This one, I just was like, why is this R? Like, this is not, and like, there's not enough in this to convince me that this is an R rating. Apart from, I don't know, Pearl clutching.
Implied head jobs, and
Was it an American R rating or an Australian R rating?
No, it was an American R rating.
Because that's a different
It's only an M here.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it was just it's just one of those things where I was just like, wow, they really don't like things that, yeah, but if you chucked a gun in it, they'd be like, no, fine, PG.
Yeah.
So R in America is kind of like, MA15 here.
NC-17 is the American R, like the which means not classified and can't be shown to anyone under the age of 17.
Yeah, that was
But I thought the sex scenes were sweet.
I thought they were very sweet, but also
It's
putting
not
my
hardcore
American
porn,
glasses
that's for
on.
sure.
I mean, apart from I already discussed things about, like, I don't like the rich factor as, like, I hate a story about anything if it has to do with people who don't suffer from any problem whatsoever because they can buy their way out of it. So yeah, I already have a problem with the movie. I like it because it's a sweet story. But I just wanted to see those two, if they weren't particularly in the roles that they had, like, there's no grand romance about how lovely it is to be dating very fabulous. Like, this is why I wanted to see this. This is what I want to see out of Red, White, and Royal Blue is have fun with that shit. Like, you have all of the benefits of being attached to those families and none of the responsibilities. Neither of you have to stand up and give press conferences. Neither of you have to do anything but show up to charities and cut ribbons because you're literally like faceless people. And you're not happy. You're just not having fun with it. Like, for fuck's sake. Anyway, that's why I had a thing. I want to see the same story, but it's a very boring people. Like, one from the side of town that's poor and the other from who's a really great theatrical person and they fall in love on the F train in New York. Like, that'd be great.
That's a whole different movie.
It's a whole different movie.
That exists. I'm sure that exists.
It does. And the reason that this is, is what it is because, Shakespeare would tell you that this is a tragedy has to be about heightened things. We're talking about gods and kings and, it's heightening it to the level where the things that could fail would be the entire American presidency and potentially the concept of the royal family. These are the things that are at stake.
Yeah.
If only they'd played it like that.
Yeah. Yes. It wasn't played enough.
It wasn't played enough. And I like the end, like after all of the hand wringing about Henry not being allowed to be gay, and that's why he had to, frankly, be kind of fucking awful.
Yeah.
And got forgiven for that really, really quickly. But then when it kind of came down to it, he was just kind of like, oh, actually, no, this is fine.
There's a crowd outside, so I'm okay.
It just didn't feel earned. It didn't feel like the stakes were ever high enough in the film to kind of justify the plot happening.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Except that they're such sweet boys and, it's nice.
Did anyone else find it strange that they were just so open about their communication, knowing for a fact that they would have been sat down from birth? Well, especially the prince would have been sat down from birth going, Jesus Christ, don't put anything in writing. People are hacking your communication devices.
Do you not remember what happened to Charles and Camilla?
Have you not used a fake name? It would be great. It's like, dear Barry, I love thee more than anything else. That kind of thing. And that was one of the ones where I was just like, as it was happening on the screen, and they were apart and they were messaging each other and writing each other lovely notes. I'm like, they're going to get fucked over by this. This is so telegraphed.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I did enjoy the way that they portrayed the text messaging and phone calls. I thought it was like really, it's something we haven't seen yet. I loved it.
I love that it was enemies to friends too. Then like that was kind of sweet
the
because at
best
least
trope.
yeah, but it was done over text. Like, and
Yeah, but
I
it was
like
cute. Like the moment on the bed where they're like talking to each other, but then
Mm.
like the voice goes tinny, like you're on the phone, and I thought
Yeah,
it was
I
very
thought
clever.
there were some really lovely moments like that, and I enjoyed them, and I thought they were very smartly done. And then I got really frustrated when there are other moments where I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake! Like there was a moment where they're in France, and it was by far the shittiest green screen
Oh.
I've seen in a long time. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on! And there
Yeah,
was a
but
point.
also, the White House was a green screen too. They built it on a sound stage. They
Yeah.
shot everything else in England. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
and there was a couple of bits where they were
yes.
doing like bits in front of like like the Democratic National Convention and stuff like that, and I was like, "Fuck, this looks cheap." I was just like, "Fucking hell!" Like
It's a movie. What
because
do you want?
yeah, I know, but that's just it. Like I feel like this sits in that weird spot between like where we're at with a lot of streaming films these days, where it's like it doesn't have the budget that it needs to be, fully big, massive sets and all that kind of stuff. And so it does a lot of that, but not all of it. And then some of it doesn't quite get right. So it feels like there's half and half.
They probably blew the budget on making about 5 cakes to do that scene.
they probably
It's a
blew the
very big
budget.
cake.
They probably
did.
blew the budget on fucking rocket fuel for Jeff Bezos's dick rocket that he shoots into space. It's like, no, we haven't got enough money to make it look this way because we need to put all that into our satellite program. Fuck.
Can I give you a little bit of trivia?
Please.
So Alex is named after Alexander Hamilton.
Ah.
And when they have their rendezvous in the Red Room, they're actually making out against the portrait of Alexander Hamilton.
Ah, very nice.
Oh my.
So what are the other things that were spoilery that you wanted to talk about? Do we all have things that were deeply spoilery that we wanted to discuss?
I want to talk about how if you're going to have like a secret hookup with a prince for the first time and you don't want anyone to know about it, why you wouldn't close the curtains in your hotel room.
Because they're like maybe 50 stories up. I don't know.
It just seemed weird. I was just like, the curtains are just open, guys. Like, come on.
I mean, they're just.
Paparazzi.
I feel like they're just playing exactly into the trope that all of the sons or daughters or children of like powerful people are absolute fucking morons. And the reason that they always get into these scandals is because they're just too dumb to figure it out. Like, I mean, why would you go to a state function as a representative and get pissed? And like the first point is like, why would you go there and get pissed? Like,
dumb boys in the early 20s.
Yeah.
Are they? I don't know what age these guys were supposed to be. If it's supposed to be the early 20s, I'm like, yeah, they seem very switched on for early 20s because I know a lot of early 20s people these days can't talk on the phone. So
yeah, but they're also in privileged positions. So
sure, they'll have their assistant talk on the phone. That's fine. I mean, it does go to sort of great lengths to explain that Alex is the outgoing kind of happy in the camera spotlight kind of one, and it's chalk and cheese. It's kind of like it's very nice. It's sweet, but.
Yes, Clam, fill the plot holes with dumb boys.
Yeah. Hang on, there's a big plot hole of it. Bring another dumb pretty boy. Put him in there. Just squeeze him in.
Yeah.
Wallpaper it over with sexy.
I will agree, though. I did miss a lot of interesting female characters in there, just for like, or interesting other characters whatsoever. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
It just felt like
did love
really
Amy, the Secret Service woman.
Yeah, but she only got like
was neutralized.
She only got like 2 good lines, and that was it. And I was like, that was kind of fun, but there wasn't any. I didn't feel like an ensemble. It felt very much like this is focused on these 2 guys, and they're making the whole film work for them.
And shout out to Uma Thurman for existing, but at the same time, fuck that accent.
In this. Oh, fucking leave her alone. I love Uma. I love Uma. She's great. I thought she was wonderful in this.
I liked her, but there were a few times I was like, what is that? What are you doing?
I enjoyed the character. The accent was distracting. But I really enjoyed the character. And obvious things aside, I enjoyed her performance in the character. Do you feel like this is something that, maybe would have done better justice to the story and the characters as a series?
Yeah, I could watch more of it.
Because as a movie, it really does feel to me like a bit of a, Hallmark, daytime movie. But I do see the potential in the characters.
Originally, it was a 3-hour cut. And I'm like, where's that version, please? I want to see more. I want more.
I would have I agree. I would have looked at this more of a Amazon TV series rather than a film.
So early on, Julie, you said that it was a young adult novel. So is it aimed at that YA crowd sort of thing?
I mean, I suppose so. Definitely not maybe not tweens, but definitely people in their 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
right.
A younger person's book. Although, as somebody who's an older woman, still quite enjoy it.
I was just intrigued by it because, I think of YA as being that kind of, I don't know,
tweeny and angsty.
Tweeny, angsty, and perhaps you hit your fantasy stuff, your Shadow and Bone.
Maybe a bit older than young adult. There's no angst. It's all very we'll sort it out. It's cool.
Yeah, and I think maybe if it was an adult, aimed hard at the adult audience, it may have gone a little harder at the things. But also, I haven't read the book, so.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy the giant casual stab taken at British or boys boarding school. So.
Oh yeah! Holy shit!
Yes.
That question: Are you going to top or bottom? Well,
possibly a vast overgeneralization, but sure.
I'm from a boarding school in England. What do you think? Wow! Holy shit!
I mean, it's kind of fair. I love that sort of stuff was dealt with so directly too, about throughout that whole film, when it was like, oh, you're gay. It's not like, oh no, you're gay. It's more like, oh great, so you do this way. Are you having sex, right? All this kind of stuff is just kind of like, great, nice.
Yes,
it's accepted. We're just going to have those conversations. This is what I do now, and it's providing, I think, people who aren't familiar with that with more information to be like, oh, how should I react? Or this is a good way to react.
No silent letters.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I love that Alex was like, no, I haven't done that. I mean, there is sort of an assumption in so often the case that people go, oh, if you're bi, you're gay, whatever, then you are promiscuous or you are fucking everybody that moves. And for him to then kind of go, I hooked up with this person and I've, done this, but I've not actually had sex. And you're like, oh, right, okay, that's an important thing.
Destigmatize virginity and sexual relationships and just say, let's just have an honest conversation. Not everybody has experience or the same levels of experience, but we don't need to vilify someone for not being on the same level, and we can just be adults about it and say, you know what, that's cool. If you want to participate in this, I'll hold your hand through it. It's going to be fine. We're going to both enjoy it,
Yeah, personally, I think the idea of shaming somebody for not having that at the point where that may be about to happen is just the worst shit you could possibly do.
Probably the most unsexy thing that could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in a very cringe moment where Henry's like, I think we should make love. And I'm like, oh. I'm glad that Alex just really went for it and said, who the fuck says that? Because I was almost out of that film.
Yeah.
But if you're going for enthusiastic consent, you kind of have to be fairly explicit.
You got to put all your cards on the table.
Not everyone.
Did it bug anyone a little bit that first kiss was a little bit non-consensual?
Sure, but I mean, how... I mean, no.
Nah.
I wouldn't mind someone planning one on me, but I would have to want it back too. Sure.
How does that person know? It's a tricky area.
Yeah, the first kiss is
you
always
have to jump with both feet.
That first kiss. It's so difficult, because you're like, who makes the first move? And I mean, there is something sweet about saying, is it okay if I kiss you now?
Not everyone
but
has
at
the
same
benefit
time-
of going
It
to a
is
British
fine
boarding
when you're
school,
going
do
on a
they?
date with someone, but when you just don't know and you just gotta, and you're drunk and you just put it out there.
Very confusing. It's modern sexual politics. Jesus Christ.
So, any more things to say about Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is a very weird title, and I don't like it. They needed to do something else. It's too long.
You get over that.
Yeah, I will get over it.
If anybody in the chat is at all curious, I would definitely say read the book. There's more content in there. I think it might make the movie sit with you better if you get
Sounds
maybe
like
a bit
it.
more of the background.
I've actually heard a lot of people say that the movie is a really good introduction to the characters, and then it'll give you the book that you can go through a much deeper and more interesting story. So very rarely do people go, "Oh no, watch the movie first, then read the book."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I probably would have been more on the side of you guys if I hadn't read the book first. It definitely helped to already have the knowledge and just want to see it come to life, kind of thing. Yeah. I get the cringe.
Yeah.
Cool. It's cool.
Crunch.
And Peter, like you were saying, it if you have just watched, season 2 of Heartstopper or something like that in quick succession with this, you get the two very similar but at the same time very different romances that have different ways of handling stuff. It's cut from the same cloth but from very different pieces of fabric. I don't know. That didn't work at all. Just put it out there.
If you're into very chaste, cute little relationships, then watch Heartstopper because you're not getting any action there. But if you want something a little bit more adult, you can watch this one.
Admittedly, Heartstopper has failed to go to Pound Town. You are correct.
I also don't want to.
That is one of the things I love about it. So,
also, do not need to see the children going to Pound Town.
Or if you want to find, someone who falls in love with a computer game, go watch Gran Turismo. I saw it recently. It's, I had a better time watching Red, White, and Royal Blue. It's a little bit sweeter and more fun. Gran Turismo is just funny to watch. David Harbour
and
just
your
plays
review
it
is
down,
on the
yeah.
website.
It is. You can read the review. It's a short one, 5-minute. Read that. Figure
Skip
out what
on
it
through
is.
it. Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
What are we doing next week? I've forgotten.
it's a good question.
Oh,
Twisted
I'm
Metal.
glad I memorized the schedule.
Yes. Twisted Metal and then Deadlock. Wow, two very. This is a.
We are whiplashing all over the place.
This is a month of not the same. The three of these things are doing their own thing. A very niche Tasmanian comedy, and then a post-apocalyptic Captain America.
Yes.
Sorry.
Based on the video game from 1997.
I know,
Captain
right?
America and Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
By all accounts, that's fun though. So you've got a TV series and another two TV series to watch before the end of the month. And that's it.
I'm also going to flag just from my little animation corner. Watch the Babylon 5 animated film, and it's fucking great.
Are you sure though, Quinny? Because Babylon 5 is a huge pile of rubbish.
Get out!
Is everybody watching season 4 of Harley Quinn?
I have not been.
So behind.
Binge.
I just
Not
behind.
binge. Get on it. Oh, I also
Okay.
started watching My Adventures with Superman, and that's very cute.
It is very cute. I watched a couple of those, and I really like those. Just shout out to Tari, who says, maybe I'll stop my current obsession of watching Stray Gods playthroughs and skim through this. So Stray Gods is a video game musical that was made by Summerfall Games, who are based here in Australia. Liam Essler, who is based in Melbourne, who's a lovely dude who I've worked with before, is one of the main producers on it. Voice directed by Joel from The Last of Us, featuring half the cast of Critical Role, with music by Tripod.
Oh,
It's fucking amazing.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I might have to get onto
You're
that
ticking
obsession.
numbers there. It's like, excellent. Oh, what's going on
You're
here?
just like
This is-
writing out the checks.
Yeah, what are you doing with that?
You just got them
Um,
some new subscribers or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on Steam and PlayStation, and at the moment I haven't gotten hold of it. But yeah, it's
Nice.
got Laura Bailey and God, fuck, just a really huge cast,
and God, excellent.
yeah, Ashley Johnson and a bunch of others.
I love watching people play video games. So if you're going to play it, Quinny, I want to come and watch.
Okay, I will get hold of it and start checking it out because it is. I mean, I'm just super excited because Liam's a really lovely guy. Who
I mean,
I've done a couple of great debates and stuff with, and
Quinny,
it's cool to hear that they're doing something so big. What's that? Sorry, Dave?
We do have a Twitch channel in case you wanted to play it, so that people could comment on it as you wanted to.
Oh, wow! I
mean-
forgot that that's what this is for.
Oh,
Oh,
oh no! How would you?
What a
do
crazy
that?
concept!
I'd come along to heckle. I mean, to participate.
Okay, well maybe I'll go hunting and see if I can get it to actually work on my poor
if
old
anyone's
PlayStation.
keen for watching more Lego builds, I've got 2 sets that need building.
Oh my God, you
Ooh.
do, don't you?
Yeah, maybe I'll do some weekend stuff. If
I'm
anyone's
I'm
keen.
saving my pennies for the Ghost Lego that's going to come
Oh,
out
no.
soon. Oh no!
Oh,
No.
Oh, this month is Ahsoka, isn't it? Oh yes.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Oh, Star Wars
Um,
television.
God, save me from that fucking abomination that was called Secret Invasion.
I didn't even finish it yet.
What a giant waste of time and money.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Bad. Bad.
Um,
Bad.
I
Adsky's
haven't
asking
watched
the
past
question.
the first episode.
Bad.
I watched 3 and that was I'm like, oh, I'll get back to it.
I forgot about the last episode, and I'm like, oh, I suppose you should finish it. I'm like, why did I do that? Now I hate myself.
I was too busy watching Strange New Worlds and fucking loving it.
Strange New Worlds was great.
So fucking
Yes.
good.
Adsky says, ask the question, was he Lenovo Daddy? So Lenovo Daddy was mentioned in the last great debate at PAX. No, that was a gentle, lovely person called Ben Williams. Who,
right, yes.
yes, he's Lenovo Daddy or Laptop Daddy.
He was Lenovo Daddy. Somewhere else now.
Yes, and now he's working for Expertise Events.
Actually, I went and saw...
And I'm going to be doing that too!
I saw No Hard Feelings, that weird...
Yeah.
I did. It's interesting. The premise is terrible, but it's quite a funny film.
Yeah, the trailers did not sell it for me.
No.
And then that article that Pete found, I was like, why didn't they market it that way?
I know.
Would have watched it.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. I feel like I need to watch it having read that article to see if that article was an accurate representation or just somebody having a lot of hope. I don't know.
Maybe somebody projecting.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, look, so there's heaps of stuff out there and we are consuming content like it's going out of fashion, which it is. Because at the moment nobody's making new stuff.
No, I'm just waiting for the inevitable thing of so what movies are coming out? Everyone's like,
nothing.
I don't know.
I'm hoping that this means that some of the smaller films that have been, sitting in quite a, either not getting released or getting small releases can start being seen by more people. Yep. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Are we all excited for the Blue Beetle this month?
Yeah.
I've been reading a very good reviews of it. It's people saying that it's a wonderful film for Latino representation. But we will wait and see. I'm personally excited for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film when it finally fucking releases here in Australia. A solid month and a half after everywhere else in the world.
Why do they always fucking do that?
Does my head in. I know it's a thing that has to happen to match up with.
No, it's not.
No, yeah, you're right. It's not.
No, it's not. No.
The industry has spoken.
All praise the industry.
Dear.
No.
Well,
all right.
look, thank you for everybody joining us. If you've got any suggestions as to what we should be doing in September, please let us know.
If you have any suggestions of any other content, non-review, Quinny playing games, or Jill building Lego, or otherwise, let us know.
Yeah. And if you are going to Oz Comic Con in Sydney in September, I will be there. Which is very exciting.
I'll also be there.
Yay!
anything remotely interesting, just there.
Oh, well, I will be
tuned.
there on a stage talking to
Good,
people.
good,
Yes.
good, good.
In a professional capacity.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful. We'll see how.
Yes.
We'll stay tuned. We'll have more information about that soon. But that's very all lovely and wonderful and exciting and sounds amazing. I can't wait.
Thanks for coming, Chad. Love you guys.
Yeah, we're back now.
you.
Let's get back into the
We're
swing of work things, so we'll be here. But we'll see you
Yeah.
all a bit later. Okay.
Next week.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.